I get, the more I want factoids. The more I want to, it all interconnects.
Oh man, shout out to you guys. We're about $18 away from opening up the call-in line. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the support, guys. Y'all been some real troopers.
And then I really...
Oh, but let's not forget to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of y'all guys who watched this, probably about 250,000 or so who watched it, my channel, more than 6 times over the past 6 months. So go ahead and end the cycle today and subscribe to the channel. All right.
Disdain on the left, right, anything, people that just pick up talking points and act like they know something. And what's frustrating is 90% of these so-called journalists and influencers, literally, you talk to them in person, they don't know anything. They sit there like deer in the headlights. My callers are infinitely more knowledgeable because, you know, they're tuned in here. They probably were smart before they tuned in. That's why they look for something else smart. Bird of a feather fly together, flock together. But it's not about tooting our horns. It's about saying we need to save civilization and humanity. Nick Fuentes, you can disagree with his conclusions or what he thinks should be done sometimes, but you can't disagree with his analysis and the fact that he goes up against top geopolitical, you know, White House advisors with 5 degrees and kicks their ass. So respect needs to be due. But also, it's not just the globals we're fighting. It's the low IQ people that we've woken up who are more like in high school and they want to, in a hierarchy, say, you know, everybody's a globalist, but them, it's something that the Israelis and the other lobbies feed with bots to make us fight with each other. So we don't recognize the organic leaders that God has given us to lead us out of this. So I want to just say that right up front, that I respect Nick Fuentes because he knows what he's talking about. I can disagree on the final product of thousands of points that go together or say maybe this is better. And sometimes he's right more than I am. The difference is he knows what he's talking about. And I am sick and tired of having to debate low-grade morons that don't even know how to find their ass with both hands. So, Nick, let me throw this out at you because we got a lot of time here and I appreciate it. But I want you to quantify before we go to these clips and unpack this and what you think's coming next, what you predict next, how we can stop this, which you already said we can't, which we still got to try. I think you're right. I'm about to evacuate to South America or something. That's where all the globalists are going. But
man, that boy Alex is going through it right now. You could tell. He's shell-shocked.
Here's my question.
Like, no, Alex Jones truly can't believe that Trump did this. Like, and you could tell Alex Jones, hardline Trump supporter. Like, bro, same as myself. But the thing is like it comes to a certain point where you got to sit there and be like, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't America first, bro. This ain't even what MAGA was built on. But apparently, I mean, people are trying to gaslight us to make it so. Trust me, Alex. I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Looking at all of this, is there? I want you to think about this. I know you already said no. What could we do? A peaceful demonstration? I don't know, hang something on our doorway, or liberals would say mass strike. I don't want to join them in that because then you're allied with Islam. Is there any way to get Trump off this destructive course we're on? And then maybe describe to people, because you predicted the future, where this course takes us. Nick Fuentes.
Well, as I said, I'm very pessimistic about that. And the reason being is because when you look at the numbers, it's not popular. You know, they did all the polls this weekend. You got Washington Post, Reuters. I think there's a few others. And the approval rating for the conflict is sitting at about 30%, right around 30%, maybe just under that. And Trump has to know this is an utter betrayal of his campaign promise of no new wars, and he's the peace president and so on.
Bro, I remember when, he literally said about Obama, yo, if Obama gets into war with Iran, it's because of failed diplomacy. Obama wants war with Iran. He was condemning Obama for potentially getting into war with Iran. He was condemning Obama. Like, let's not forget that. Now, here he goes doing the exact same thing he condemned Obama for, and we got people defending this. Like, are y'all serious? Do y'all have no consistency?
Well, as far as a massive demonstration, what is that supposed to demonstrate? That the war is unpopular? They know the war is unpopular. Is that supposed to demonstrate that we're dissatisfied? They know we're dissatisfied. And I think that gets back to the nature of it, which is that it is a gamble. And I think that Trump is counting on the fact, well, let's actually be honest for a moment here about it. Trump is counting on the fact or the possibility that this works, that this little gambit pays off. And we bomb Iran a lot for a week. It's quick and it's hard, and then we leave and we get what we want, and there's minimal loss of life. If it is successful, I think people on our side may even be underestimating the appetite for something like that among the general public. If it's a big victory, or if they're able to plausibly claim victory, it may even be popular. And so I think Trump is actually okay with this. I think that Trump, the way he sees it, because he said this the other day, he said, I don't care about approval ratings. He said, and I'll put boots on the ground. I don't care. Now, obviously he cares on some level, but I think in his mind, this is all.
Yeah, he better care about a bunch of dead troops. I mean, you talk about.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, bro, and this kills me to say this, but I mean, why would he care when he got enough blind followers who will follow no matter what he do, no matter what promises he break? Why would he care? If we got people in MAGA right now that ran on no new wars, here we are at a war and they're not standing up. They're not saying anything. They're sitting there going along with the war propaganda that's been fed to us since Iraq. I mean, come on now. And we're going to believe the same lies that led us into useless wars again? Like, do we have any type of pattern recognition here?
We're talking, it'll make Vietnam numbers look tame.
Well, it depends on what they do. If it's a full-scale invasion, you're absolutely right, because they will try to inflict maximum casualties, and it will get ugly. It will be like
obviously
Iraq.
Already special forces there before this happened. I'm talking about a real invasion to, quote, secure the Strait of Hormuz or whatever. That's how they'll start it. It's a disaster.
Right. Yeah. And I agree. And I think that, on some level, he obviously cares about these things, but this is part of the bluff. This is part of the gambit, which is, partially, I think some of the things he's saying is meant to signal to the Iranians that things could get worse. If the outcome that you desire is for a pragmatic.
Hold on. So we do support a war with Iran? So man, come on, bro. Come on, Chase. So we do support a war with Iran, even though that's what we were campaigning on. Like the entire, 2024 at the end, when the election was going on, we were campaigning on no new wars, right? And now all of a sudden we're saying that we did vote for this. I don't know, brother. I don't know. I wish I could sit there and agree with you, but I'm sorry. I just can't. Like he told us, bro, he even mocked Obama for potentially getting into war with Iran. So who are we to sit here and try to cover for him when, bro, you were sitting there making fun of other people for possibly doing this? Now you're doing it. It's really hard to defend somebody like that. I'm be real with you. But, you didn't say that. Well, then my bad, bro. My bad. But I thought that's what you were saying.
Faction to take power, negotiate with the United States. Well, to persuade them that is the logical course, you would actually need to convince them that things could get worse.
And that's why they just had the council meeting to elect a new mullah who didn't want peace right now.
Okay. All right. My bad, Chase. You're right. He said the second he tries to send a single soldier over, then we'll get mad. But right now, this is not Iraq. Agreed. I mean, okay. Agreed, bro. I'll give you that one.
Now, they just killed them today. So he's hoping like maybe the next group's less radical. But as you said on your show a few days ago,
it's escalated to that level.
As you go down the chain, they get more.
Hopefully it don't escalate to that level. Hopefully it never escalates to that level. But what Chase saying is right. It hasn't even escalated to that level.
More radical and stupider.
Yes, and that is why he's trying to persuade them that it could always get worse. I'm sure in their mind, in Trump's mind, he's thinking that these Iranians expect that maybe they could ride out the storm. If they could survive, if they could hide out in shelters, then maybe there's going to be some continuity of government. And Trump is trying to persuade them that if they don't capitulate, it could get worse. The bottom could continue to fall out from under them.
And by the way, what they really don't want. Influence farmers will say you just endorsed Trump. No, when you war game what he's thinking, you're not endorsing that.
Right. No, we're purely speculating about his state of mind and what his approach is. And so I think
you see the clips of you where they take you wargaming and say that's the same thing to me. That's what they do. I just want to get that out there.
They always.
Oh, and guys, you can't sit there and say this is not a war when Pete Hegseth has called it a war. Donald Trump has called it a war. I mean, are you guys serious? Hold on. How delusional are some of you guys? Like when our political officials say that this is a war, why are you guys delusional enough to say, oh, no, it's not? I'm like, bro, even Donald Trump is calling it a war. I hope you know this.
Yeah, well, and I consider those people to be third worldists because they're really arguing for Iran in and of itself or Venezuela.
No, really think about that. Like, how is it not a war when Donald Trump called it a war? Pete Hegseth is considering this a war. He damn near said it's a religious war. So, yeah. How are we going against what what was it? The Secretary of Defense and the president saying? How are y'all doing that? How are y'all saying there's not a war when they are?
In and of itself, or China. And me, I look at Iran not as a great country. I mean, they're a Muslim theocracy, but I look at them as a country that, one, they're a sovereign state. So I don't think we have business going in and killing their leader.
Potential to destroy us and bring down the economy. So.
Right. And you know, and I would go further than that. They balance Israel. There's a balance between Iran and Israel. I don't know that that's the worst thing in the world, because if you have two very powerful states,
Israel needs to be contained. Now that, why are they now publicly admitting everywhere? I'm sure you've seen it, that yeah, we're taking everything, including their allies. Like it'd be like if my neighbor said, yeah, I just went over and screwed my neighbor's wife. Your wife's next.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's a provocation. It's intended to be provocative. They actually do not want peace in the region, and all of this is based on fueling this ongoing conflict. They don't want it.
Same reason they stood down on October 7th. Same reason they founded Hamas.
Yes, and Americans are under the.
Hey, and shout out Luna, appreciate it. She says, yeah, the only Trump ones left and the never Trumpers. I'm weak. Yep, the only Trump ones left and the never Trumpers. You know, so crazy. The only Trump guys, I mean, yeah, like I said, they're doing everything they can to deny everything about this war. And then, of course, you got the never Trumpers who are, I mean, taking everything to the extreme and making it seem like Donald Trump is honestly, well, be real with you, responsible for this entire conflict. When, to be quite honest with you, yeah, he kind of let Israel drag us into it, but let's not forget who dragged us into it.
Impression that we're desperate to make it.
But I'm gonna be real with you, it was not a smart idea of him dragging us into it. Like, let's be real, it's going to cause economic turmoil if this goes on too long.
Deal, and there's this peace that is just always elusive, always out of reach. If only the Muslims would just relax. But it takes two to tango here. The Israelis, they are the ones that actually want the conflict.
Lady, I voted for Trump too. Like, this isn't a we won and we lost situation here. Like, we're at war. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. But when your gas prices go up, don't complain. And don't say it was the Dems either. This is all us. This is all on MAGA. This is all Donald Trump. I mean, when the job reports look, if this goes on a month further, do not blame a damn thing on the Democrats when the economy goes on a downturn. Don't, because y'all sat here in celebration. Remember this day. And God forbid I don't get to make this point next month. Hopefully it ends by that time.
Didn't want to deal with Iran. If they get a deal with Iran, that they don't get to topple the Iranian regime. If Iran gets a deal with the United States, maybe they give up their nukes on some timeline, but they also get to normalize their trade relations and diplomatic relations with all the countries in the region.
Israel wants to keep it in no man's land and keep them in the timeout box.
Yes, they want to maintain that kind of operational control like they had in Syria, where they can control the airspace and they can just drop bombs, and then they could ultimately control the outcome in that country and make it significantly weaker. So that's the sick logic of Israel's grand strategy.
We have a full sales job now by Netanyahu, Trump, and now Vance. We have the clips that it may last a little while, a long time, it may last forever. We're being sold on a forever war right now.
You don't care about it.
And so here's my problem. I don't want the Democrats opening the border. I like Trump killing the carbon tax. I like the no tax on tips. There's all this good stuff, but rapidly, like, I can ignore some stuff and hold my nose with Trump, but quickly, I mean, by the hour, I morally cannot be part of this. You're already there saying vote Democrat. I get you're saying that as a carrot and the stick, but I mean,
hey,
what the hell's going on here?
I think you have to. I think you have to vote Democrat in 26, and I'll tell you why. I mean, we're being told always that the Republicans are the lesser of two evils, that they're going to be marginally better than the Democrats. Look at all of the broken promises. Epstein files, that's huge. It's huge. And let's be honest, they tried to cover it up. It's not like they fumbled that. It's not like they made a mistake. They engaged in an active cover-up, and they failed only because of a revolt within their own party. And now Marjorie Greene is an outcast. She was like the MAGA congresswoman. She was like the one in Congress who came after Trump won the election. She's an outcast because she led the coup to get the Epstein files released. That's a big one. Then you got the deportations. They haven't started on the border wall. And even though they secured the border, look, they secured the border in 2020. What good did that do when Joe Biden came into power? Nothing, because then he just overturned all the executive orders and they came pouring in. That's why you need the wall. They haven't started it. 230,000 deportations. It isn't happening. And now we're in a regime change war with Iran. You've been around. I've been around not as long as you, but for some time. Regime change in Iran is like synonymous with the neocons' ultimate master plan. That is like the number one thing on Israel's wish list.
On the crown. It was the whole Middle East strategy and the Rebuilding America's Defenses PDAC plan 2020 or 2000 was this.
Yes, and even further than that, going back to clean break in 96, this has always been the plan. And for a time, we thought that was unthinkable. We thought that Trump winning made that impossible. So for Trump to be the one to take us there and sell it and push it and trigger it, and now we're in a regime change war with Iran, it's almost unbelievable to even say that. Thousands of American and Israeli airstrikes destroying Iran's military. Here's how I feel about it. If you will tolerate that, you will tolerate anything. At what point do you say no? At what point do you say there's no excuses? People say, well, if there's boots on the ground, dude, they're dropping bombs everywhere and it's in Iran. So for me, I said, that's the last straw. I'm out. And you know me, I'm the furthest thing from a Democrat. I'm far right. I'm not left wing or even liberal. I don't consider myself even a center liberal or a right liberal.
Let's talk about that. Democrats get in.
Dude, I consider myself center right, but I'm way more on the right than anything. So I know, trust me, when people come at me trying to say that I'm a liberal, I'll be looking at them like they're idiots. Like, oh yeah, you obviously, this is your first time on this channel, and you obviously never seen me speak on things before. You might want to go check out my other videos, because yeah, that will make you feel stupid. Because I've been supporting Trump for a while now, and when it comes to this war, a line that honestly he kind of crossed, yeah, that's gonna turn me off to the idea of Trump. I ain't gonna lie, it's gonna turn me off to the idea of Republicans altogether. Because he couldn't fight the warmongering Republicans in the end. He succumbed to them.
Isn't that accelerationist?
No, I think that.
My bad.
I don't know that I would characterize it as accelerationist. I would characterize it as corrective. And it's sending a message to the GOP before the big one, which is 28.
Yeah, you're saying the only leverage we've got is the wake-up call.
Right. And, 28, we got to win that one. I really believe a Republican's got to win, but we need it to be the right Republican. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that there's any other language they will understand other than to show them we're not showing up in 26. Yeah. And what's more, I also think that Vance and Rubio are to blame.
And our guys can't do whatever y'all want and expect people to vote for you guys. And all you got is, well, what about the left? What about transing your kids? Did you know that the Trump administration just said that, well, these guys can trans their kids as long as it has parent approval? Like, bruh, the right's doing it now too. Like the left is transing your kids. Yeah, the right just gave permission to the parents to trans their kids. We wanted it stopped altogether, right? We wanted no kids to get mutilated. But here the guys are on the right to plain in our face, but then behind closed doors, what do? Allow for transgender surgery for kids along with parent approval. Is that okay with you? You don't feel betrayed? You don't feel crossed? Nothing? All right, then I guess you just accept anything, huh?
This as well. If they couldn't stop a war in Iran when they're in power now, how are they going to make the decision when they become the president?
We knew Rubio's a deep state guy. He's been, quote, doing a good job.
And trust me, I'm not voting for the Dems either. But I guess I'm just not voting if that's the case. Because if it's between these Republicans who kind of went back on all their promises, damn near, especially when it came to trans and war and who God knows what else, bro, now we're over sitting here with the Dems who want open borders, who want even the trans, who want kids to decide they want to trans themselves. I mean, bruh, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. This shit sucks. We got two terrible parties. I'm starting to argue a lunatic libertarian. We just need a clean house.
What we wanted till now. But Vance was an open thing. He's come out now and said we may be there in a long war. So Vance is definitely getting in line with that. In fact, speaking of the devil, let's go to those clips first. Here's Thune, the leader of the Senate, saying Trump doesn't need a war powers. He has authorization, which no, he doesn't. This is pure war, folks. This is not blow up their weapons. This is regime change. And then Vance saying the same thing and saying basically this could be a forever war. And then I want to go through these other clips, but here it is.
Do you think the Congress would need to authorize any military action against Iran beyond the 60-day or 90-day window?
No. I think the president has the authority that he needs to conduct the activities, the operations that are currently underway there. And as you know, there's a lot of controversy around, questions around the War Powers Act, but I think the president is acting in the best interest of the nation and our national security interests by ensuring that he's protecting Americans and American bases and installations in that region, as well as those of our allies.
We'll go back and get Nick Fuentes' take on this, but Marco Rubio yesterday. Israel launched the attack. They were going to attack us. We had to attack them because they would attack us if we attacked them. Thune just said, we attacked them, so they're going to attack us. So now we have to authorize the war. So we attack somebody. So the president doesn't have a War Powers Act because he has the power to attack somebody. I mean, this is insane. Continue.
The United States has a lot of optionality here. And, you know, we could go for a little bit longer. We could go for a lot longer. But I think the president just wants to make it clear to the Iranians and to the world that he is not going to rest until he accomplishes that all important objective of ensuring that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, not just for the next few years, not just because we obliterated Fordow or some other enrichment facility, but because the Iranians themselves commit long term to not building a nuclear weapon.
So we've gone from, oh, we successfully destroyed their nuclear stuff, which I said was BS, to now total war. Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, they said last year that the program was completely obliterated. And, you know, we've almost even talked past the point. It's sort of interesting. Last year, the pretext for bombing Iran in the first place was that they were racing towards a nuclear bomb. When Israel hit Iran on June 13, 25, they said, well, Iran was going to strike us and they were racing towards a device. That's why we had to preempt that by striking them. And then, of course, the U.S. intervened to finish the job at Fordow and Natanz, which only we could do with the bunker busters from the B-2 bombers. Well, then in January, when these protests started in Iran, all of a sudden that shifted. And Trump came out and said, well, we were going to attack Iran, but we couldn't topple the regime in one blow. And you say, well, wait a second. I thought Israel and the United States attacked Iran last year because they were on their way to a nuke, but then we took care of it and we blew up their program. Now they're saying, well, we couldn't bomb Iran at our discretion in January because it wasn't going to topple the regime. And he say, topple the regime. I thought it was about the nuclear program. And like you say, now we're in it. Now we're in a full-fledged regime change war. And you wonder, who made this decision exactly? Who voted for this? Why is this happening? Arguably, it is within, I think, America's interest to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. And if they're about to imminently acquire them, a case could be made. I don't know that I would make it, but in a theoretical, A case could be made that the United States might preempt that
The
by
point is they've
intervening in Iran.
abandoned that cover story, and Trump says, oh, we killed 47, now we'll kill the rest. It's all about regime change now, which under the law is illegal to preemptively attack somebody saying, I want regime change. So Trump's being set up here with major impeachment charges.
Oh, shit. I was muted? Whole time I was muted? Oh, that's tough. That's tough. All right, though, but let me go back. I'm so sorry, guys. But I'm pretty sure you've seen what I was saying. The Save America Act, all voters must show their ID. Love it. All voters must show proof of citizenship. In love with that. No mail-in ballots. In love with that. No men's and women's sports. Truly in love with that. No transgender mutilation surgeries for children. And they should have stopped there. They should have stopped there. But they added something. Without the express written approval of the parents, the psychopathic parents that want to mutilate their children, we're letting it happen. Wild. But he should have stopped right there. Without the express written consent of the parents. It is what it is.
Well, and they're throwing everything out there. It's the dead protesters. It's the nuclear program. It's the missiles.
Yeah, shout out to my man. No, wait, am I still muted? Hold on. Don't tell me I'm still muted out here. Okay, good. We good. All right, good. But yes, guys, that's what I was talking about. And that's what kind of pissed me off. Because I was like, bro, you were so close. All you had to do was just say no transgender surgeries for children whatsoever. Period, point blank. Bro, one of the main reasons these kids was getting the surgeries because their parents was pushing them towards it. And then some of them, yes, like in California, was hiding it from their parents through the school. So that nips that situation in the butt, but it still doesn't stop some of these psychopathic parents who want to mutilate their kids, who think that's okay to do and think that they'll have a good life after. Like, we haven't stopped those crazy people yet. They're free to do what they want.
It's just like Iraq. It's exactly like Iraq. Oh, they're building a nuke, but also they did the anthrax plot. Also 9/11. They just throw everything out there in the hopes that enough people are going
to. And Castro said it right. How can you stop them? You can't. It is what it is. Even though I don't approve of it, even though I thought this is what the administration was standing on, like protecting these children, or at least protecting them from being mutilated. I mean, hey, man, it's tough. It is what it is.
To buy it, and like you said, there's nothing legal about this. What is the authorization for the use of force against Iran? Did Congress declare war? At what point was this decision made, and exactly by whom? So I don't know that this is impeachable, because ironically, the Democrats support it too. Chuck Schumer came out of the closed door hearing with Marco Rubio at the State of the Union, or the afternoon of, and said, well, this is very serious and Trump's just going to have to make his case. There's a lot of Democrats that support this, guys like John Fetterman, among others.
They're stepping back to not take any problems if it goes sideways, but they're behind it.
100%. I think so. And I don't think they would move against him for that. So
here's Trump saying that, no, he forced Israel's hand, even though on record the Pentagon admitted, no, we didn't know. They took the opportunity, so we had to hit. The Secretary of State says that Trump makes him come out and say that wasn't true. Talk about congressional hearings now. What's going to happen to Rubio when he's in front of Congress? So this is very embarrassing right now. Here is Trump saying that they made him Trump forced Israel's hand to strike first during the middle of the day against our doctrine. And then why do you think Rubio?
And guys, here's the craziest thing about it, right? So yeah, Trump actually deleted that tweet because he got backlash from, a hell of conservatives was on this man's ass. Of course, Matt Walsh and MTG. Then he deleted it and then reposted it with the no transgender mutilation surgeries for children. So it makes me wonder. It's like, yo, bro, I mean, it should have been like that. We shouldn't have to grill you to correct that. So what, if we didn't say shit, you were just going to keep it like that?
Came out yesterday and said Israel forced our hand. What do you think the impetus behind that was? Here it is.
President, did Israel force your hand to launch these strikes against Iran? Did that pull the United States into this war?
No, I might have forced their hands. You see, we were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that. And we have great negotiators, great people, people that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successful. And based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel was ready and we were ready. And we've had a very, very powerful impact.
Well, since the 80s, Iran has not launched an attack first. Every attack has been a response, a retaliatory attack. I mean, that is literally pulled out of Trump's butt, Nick.
It is. And that's exactly what happened last year, too. Israel came in and Trump said, oh, we knew they were doing it. They told us, and the whole negotiations were a ruse. It's almost just childish to see Trump in the White House spin. Well, actually, I forced Israel to do it. This is when Trump just becomes grating. You know, all those things we thought were charming 10 years ago or endearing or funny. Now it's just grating and insufferable. He's obviously full of it. That there's nothing true about that at all. This idea that, like you say, that Iran was about to attack us. Really?
Bro.
We have two carriers there. We got a dozen warships, 50,000 soldiers, half of our Air Force, and Iran was going to start the war against us. Does that even make any sense? That is completely made up.
And then Rubio says Israel launched an attack, so we had to because they were going to attack us. Now Trump goes, no, they were going to attack us with no information. I mean, I'm sorry, folks. I wanted to support Trump. I support the killing the carbon. That's why I hate this, because he's done a lot of good. We're watching Trump self-immolate on live television.
It is. It's a complete unraveling, and it's clear what happened there. I think, look, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, they want to run for president in 28, so they know that their butt is on the line here. If this Iran war doesn't go well, there go their presidential ambitions. Right. And so I think that when Rubio comes out and says, well,
I mean, shout outs. He said, effective immediately, I have ordered the United States Department Finance Cooperation to provide at a very reasonable price political risk insurance and guarantee for the financial security of all maritime trade, especially energy. So where Trump was going with this, he's pretty much saying, look, I know all these other insurance companies don't want to insure you through the Strait of Hormuz, but don't worry. Not only will we insure you guys, but we'll go ahead and, direct you guys towards the Strait of Hormuz. We'll escort them through the Strait of Hormuz. And if anything happens to you guys, we'll cover it. And I'll be real with you, companies aren't willing to take that risk still.
Israel made us do it. Obviously, this is like a real-time narrative construction so that when in 28, he's questioned about it on the debate stage, if this becomes a debacle, this is hedging. He can say, well, we didn't have any options. We had the choice. Either we go.
Jacob, they never promised to attack us. I'm be real with you. They only said that they would defend themselves if we were to strike them first. And Israel took it upon themselves to strike them first. So I'm not sure if you're just missing it or you're just that stupid. But hey, have a good one.
In with Israel at the beginning, or Americans die. Well, I chose to, that's going to be the argument. That's going to be the campaign speech. That'll be the, screenshot this. In a few years, that is what he's going to say on the debate stage. We had a choice. If we didn't act, then more Americans would have died. And I stood with Trump. We made the bold decision to go in and blah, blah. That is clearly going to be the answer.
And by the way, you're on a roll. You're on a roll. We got a whole other hour coming up, but let me just stop you. I said the first of the show, they're going to use the insurance company shutting down the Strait of Hormuz as the claim that we've got to put a beachhead on the Iranian side so they can't close it to secure it for trade. I said I believe that'll be the excuse for boots on the ground, which they floated in the last 2 days, which Eric Prince freaked out about, rightfully. Ladies and gentlemen, he just put this out. Show the timestamp on this, guys. Scroll down. Pull it up. I just saw this now. Trump is now saying he signed an executive emergency order basically for war. If anybody tries to close the strait, it's already closed. So this is him using economic emergency powers to have an unofficial declaration of war. Nick, this is horrible. This is really bad. This is boots on the ground. So this is just a few minutes ago. What do you make of this, Nick Fuentes?
Well, it's like I said, we're being drawn in here. That is really the operative word. Nobody wants this. It's not in our interest. We are being slowly drawn in. And what that implies is that step by step, we're being dragged further into this. And that's always what happens. It always starts with, we're just putting maximum pressure sanctions. Well, we just killed Qasem Soleimani. Well, we just backed a cyber attack. It's always, we just did this one time. And all it does is increase our liability. It just increases our stake in this disaster. And so it was very obvious. Okay, we go in with the bombs really hard. We destroy the Navy. We destroy the missile launch platforms. Okay, well, then you get this logic like, well, you break it, you bought it. Now Iran inevitably is going to keep throwing missiles at us. We're running out of interceptors. So what do you do now? Iran is going to close the Strait of Hormuz. That's going to shut down 20% of the oil trade. What do you do now? Again, you're being drawn in step by step, and our share of this, our stake in this, is always increasing until you wake up and you find you're in this unthinkable scenario. So that's why I say I don't know that we can rule out boots on the ground in the future.
Oh, but that's the plan. People go, oh, the executive order just says they'll protect the ships. Yeah, they're going to do it with troops. I already saw it. People, we got a whole other hour coming up, but how people find you, Nick?
I am at rumble.com/Nick J. Fuentes. I'm live every weeknight, and I'm on Twitter, Nick J. Fuentes as well.
And I'm at Real Alex Jones on X and the Alex Jones Show on Rumble. Everybody, we've survived so much. Nobody thinks we're going to shut down. The state receiver is refusing to pay the internet bills, refusing to keep the company open. So it looks like we're shutting down this month, towards the end of the month. We have the backup network. Just be ready, people, because you survive so much, you don't take it serious. Just get ready to share. Here's where Alex is at. Because I don't cry wolf. I just survive a long time. We'll be right back with our number.
Wow. I mean, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not even sure if this bro Alex Jones really about to get shut down. I don't even know. He's been saying he's going to get shut down for like months now. But he's saying that, hey, I guess by the end of the month, he's finally going to be shut down. He's going to have somewhere else to go. Probably what, Alex Jones TV?
4. I'm making this announcement on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. You have until the 17th of March to take advantage of the March mega sale. Now, a lot of men particularly, because men's brains are designed, the cerebral cortex, in the areas of the brain, there's like triple the connections that a woman has to strategy. And that's why men love chess, men love football. It's all strategy. But you fill your head with that. Those are literal Roman bread and circuses the Romans wrote about to distract their men, not to be politically involved. My cerebral cortex is focused on politics. So I have a lot of facts, a lot of overlaying information in history. This is a short segment. Long time coming up with Nick Fuentes. But it's so frustrating to actually know how this works and see what's moving on the chessboard. And it's not in America's interest or anybody's interest, but tyrants. To understand the historical danger of all of this. And I don't really have words, Nick, to talk about when you look out second order, third order, fourth order consequences of this. Why privately the chairman of the Joint Chiefs told Trump don't do it. Eric Prince, many others. And, we have Trump and J.D. Vance in compilation saying we're not going to go to boots on the ground. We're not going to go to regime change. They're doing it. Can you speak to what you predict happens down this road we're going? And just there's got to be other ways of leverage. If we can't leverage Trump, who do we put pressure on in Congress to stop this, or is AIPAC too powerful?
I think what has been set in motion cannot be stopped at this point. I think that the time to do it would have been in 24, and everybody reassured us that if Trump won, well, we would pressure Trump later. I remember Mike Cernovich said that. He said, well, this is how politics works. You don't know how politics works. I do. He said, you got to get Trump elected, and then we're going to work in the admin, and we're going to fight the personnel and blah, blah. And this is, I know we've had this conversation. This is always my refrain. It's like, we tried that. We did that. We did that in the first term. And by the way, how did the first term end? Trump ripped up the 2018 nuclear deal,
which was
in
dumb.
2019, we're effectively in a war with Iran. In 2020, he kills Qasem Soleimani. We're shooting down.
Yeah. And then in 2020, he kills that Soleimani guy. And then in 2021, Iran enriched to 60% uranium. Do you see what's going on here? everything was all good with Iran from 2015 to 2018 under that nuclear deal that Obama put them under. Once Trump ripped it up and put on the sanctions and bombed Soleimani, this is where Iran started going outside of that agreement, which, I'll be real with you, they have every right to, because we didn't hold up our side of the agreement. We pulled out of it and we imposed sanctions, the same sanctions that we said we were going to take off if they abided by the inspections and by the capping of their enriched uranium.
Drones, they're attacking tankers. You can Google it. There's an article, I believe it was in December 2020. Trump actually ordered the military to attack Iran, or at least was considering it, in the lame duck session. And it was only his generals that discouraged him from doing it. So it's like, this is deja vu all over again. We live this, and we tried all that. The personnel, the voting, the Twitter campaign, the hashtags. And I think that, you know, now Trump is going to do what Trump is going to do. And Trump, who knows why? Blackmail, persuasion, whatever. Those people are around him.
It's ego. Really, you said it now. It's ego.
It's ego, certainly. Whatever it is.
Oh, and guys, a lot of people have this misconception that, oh, well, Obama was sending them money. Yeah, I looked into that, and no, we weren't. When we lift sanctions, we're just pretty much giving money back to them that we locked up.
That's what we're stuck with. And I think that if you want to really get it to stop, you just got to switch up and play both sides. You got to play both sides and go Democrat. And I don't want to do it. You know, I don't like the Democrats. I fully understand what they represent, but what else can you do to the Republicans? All that other stuff is flaccid. Protest, tweet about it. They know if you are going to vote in November that you're really not serious. You know, you're going to go and rah, 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 hold up the sign. But as long as they get your vote in the end, I mean, honestly, what difference does it make for them? There's a little less enthusiasm. They don't care. So I'm really, like I said, I think that we actually have to think beyond this. And we have to think the only way out of it is 28. How do we relight the flame in 28? That's all I care about. And for that to happen, maybe there needs to be a little pain. You know, the current GOP has to suffer a little bit for it to be reborn in 28. But it's not going to be Vance and Rubio that save the day, obviously, based on this.
Well, I would say this. I may agree with you if we say we're not going to accept, we're not going to. I would almost call it like a candidate by candidate basis. And then if somebody's a neocon, or we should do a litmus test, if they support this, they shouldn't be voted for. I almost see it as like a loyalty pledge. But let's come back, because the French are sending their aircraft carrier to protect the one of the main corridors there, Suez Canal, and Trump is now basically saying they're going to send in U.S. ships into the Strait of Hormuz, which is a total trap. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. I don't want people to miss the historic point we're at right now. The fourth turning, the end of the old order, the populist revolution's happening everywhere, and then Trump betraying what he said he would do. I have compilations of him saying no boots on the ground, no full war. And here we are, and it's all unraveling in real time. The Strait of Hormuz has already been closed by insurance companies after Iran began to attack ships and blew up and sunk a few in the last 3 days. And now Trump signs an executive order saying, we'll do whatever we have to for open shipping. We'll put troops on the ground on the Strait of Hormuz on their side. We're going to have military escorts through there. The announcements are being made off his plan. I mean, this is escalating to the next level immediately. And this is why Eric Prince and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and others told Trump, Iran's not going to give up. You're not going to get regime change. 99% chance right away. You're not going to get it in 4 weeks or 6 weeks or a year. Now they're prepping us for just an endless war. So now we're against Europe with its plan to prop itself up with endless war with Russia. And now America has its plan for this. We didn't vote for this. We didn't sign up for this. And again, they might have attacked us when Israel attacked them, said Rubio yesterday. So we had to attack them. And when they hit our ships, which Iran knew that they hit a few ships, they close it with insurance. Then they send in the U.S. ships. Then the Iranians attack those ships. And they'll go, oh, my God, they attacked us. All we're doing is blowing them up. And then now Trump says we got to put troops on the other side of the Strait of Hormuz to protect us. I said it in the first hour. It's happening in live time. Nick, this is like a bad dream.
It is. It feels surreal. I still can't even believe it. Even though I've been predicting it and even though we're watching it, I wake up and I see the news. We are at war with Iran. And for people that are not paying attention to all this stuff, again, it cannot be overstated. This is like, it's literally the neocon nightmare scenario, like war with Iraq, Syria, now Iran. You
This
just
is
go
the
like,
ghost of the neocons possessing us. This is their wet dream.
yes. And for Trump to be the one delivering it, that's the most surreal aspect of all of it. You could see a DeSantis doing this. You could see a Kamala Harris doing this, honestly. But to see Donald Trump on Friday night at Mar-a-Lago with the hat on, with the black curtain announcing this war, building the case against the Iranian regime, you go, what happened? What happened to this movement? You know, I mean, you and I, we've been with Trump really since the beginning, since 2015. And when he came down the escalator, his first big move was basically to destroy this Republican support for war and the war in Iraq in particular, repudiate that whole legacy of the Bush dynasty, George Bush, Jeb Bush. And so for him now to be doing this, it really feels like it's come full circle.
And we have Lindsey Graham having orgasms on television.
That too. Yeah, Lindsey Graham's a huge fan of this. Well, endorsed by Trump. So, I mean, again, this is my frustration. The signs were all there. J.D. Vance said at the Republican convention in 2024, we need to bomb Iran really hard. And Trump endorsed Lindsey Graham. This time he endorsed him 6 years ago. And Trump got up, you remember, during the election, and he said, if Iran takes me out, then we're going to wipe Iran off the map. Like, all of this was telegraphed from the beginning. And really, you know who I blame, sadly? I blame the so-called plan trusters. I know that you were more bullish on Trump, but you acknowledged these were legitimate concerns. There were a lot of people that said, no,
stop. Because you've been righter than me on this, and I'm not always right. I'm right about 90% of the time. I've been very honest. So I'm gonna now mea culpa here, because when I'm wrong, I'm gonna say it publicly. I needed Trump to be real, and so much good stuff. The carbon tax, getting out of it, I can go for an hour, and it's still better than that. But you can't have lesser of two evils. I have the Democrats trying to put me in prison. I just got subpoenaed again to defend. When I got Arctic frost, I got to go to Congress and provide my documents because they're going after, Jack Smith. So the Democrats are trying to put me in prison. They run show trials on HBO.
Oh, and shout out Couture Leotard. She sent a thumbs up for 10 jewels, and she sent a party hat for 20 jewels. Appreciate the support, sis. Yo, and shout out to the guys who have gifted, and for those of you guys who have also sent in a super chat. Appreciate you guys. Hey, y'all will keep the show running longer, I'll tell you that.
So obviously, it's not that I'm being paid off by Trump. I've been persecuted for supporting him. So I want to now pay out on this. I want to save the country, secure the border, find the missing kids. I want to believe. But I'm not in a cult. I'm not delusional. So I was like, I'm critical. This is overall good. But and now I'm just like, now I'm having to think of the off ramp. Nick, we've talked about this privately. You're targeted too. They're going to kill you at your house. This is your name's Nick J. Fuentes. I'm Alex E. Jones. We're real people. We're under attack. So we're in the real world. You do what you think's right. I do what I think's right. You're not paid by people. I'm not. We're just our fans.